Aha, these are my thoughts on yesterday's Apple Worldwide Developer Conference 2023. Although it's superb IT theatre, it is really designed for developers. So, no iPhones, but lots of other things. And it was long, just over 2 hours, and a marching band, and Tim Cook saying one more thing. I watched it on YouTube. It's usually Twit, but their live stream had yesterday's live stream, and you need to get your act together. And Discord wasn't really for me, i.e., low res. Anyway, so starting off with the Macs. Now, this time last year, they announced the M2 powered Air and MacBook Pro. And usually the cadence is update the M series once a year. Nothing this year. There's already been talk that they are running behind and we possibly won't see them until the end of the year. But I'm looking forward to the M3s because that is the big jump. I think it's down to 3 nanometers. If it is really 3 nanometers, and that will mean more power, better economy, more power per watt, and a real leap forward. However, that's not the case. But what did happen was the transition to Apple Silicon is now over. There is now a Mac Pro running on Apple Silicon with lots and lots of PCI slots, although I'm not sure what you would actually plug into there and whether it would need drivers and how the driver model works. It wasn't mentioned. Perhaps if I was there for one of the sessions, that might be explained. So there you go. The Mac Pro is there, and also an update to the Mac Studio, which although I can't afford it, I'm glad to see. I think it fills a niche. A desktop computer that's not huge and really screams, and yeah. So that came as an M2 Max and an M2 Ultra, and bringing up the bottom end, a 15-inch M2 MacBook Air, which I think is really rather good, to be perfectly honest. Although, I'm not sure if I would get one. I'd have to think about that to be perfect. Keep saying perfectly honest. Just say nothing, probably better. Anyway, so next, iOS, iPadOS, tvOS, various other OSs, and a bit about physical and mental healthness. Probably do that from the Regal. Moving on, as you can probably tell, I'm no longer in the Lord High Constable of England, I'm in the Regal. And let's have a look at the major OSs, iOS, iPadOS, and macOS. They're all mature OSs, so there aren't huge changes to them. In fact, there are lots of little changes to them. Really what I wanted was a fit and finish update. I think it was it iOS 13 where there were no major changes, but just things were rewritten for them to be faster and less buggy and that sort of thing. Not the case. Anyway, iOS 17. Actionable widgets. Catch up with Android. But, let's have these things. And there is a journaling app, and there is a mental health module that will give you standard tests. And there'll be a new contact card and new ways of exchanging them based on AirDrop. And enhanced AirDrop, which if one of the participants moves away, it carries on through the internet. And there's a sort of nightstand mode where if you've got your phone on a magnetic charger and horizontal, it'll sort of look like a nightstand with a clock and widgets and such like. For the first time and not the last time, accessory is probably from Belkin. Really good. Changes to the messaging apps, including the phone. I'm not sure about whether we would get in this country the live transcriptions of voicemail, because since '02 weren't the only people to have the iPhone, we don't get visual voicemail. Don't get it from anyone. I don't know what about the rest of the world. Anyway, iPadOS, widgets on the lock screen, and a couple of other things, but not a great deal. Um, macOS, macOS Sonoma, because of wine. That gets widgets as well, and you can also co-opt your iPhone I can't even say widgets onto it as well, as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network. Yeah, the mature operating systems, and I'm sure there's lots of other things, but nothing really stands out. The main thing for me out of them all is enhancements to AirDrop, because I like AirDrop. I think AirDrop is excellent, but there you go. Anyway, so that's the major operating systems and a little bit of accessories as well. We're in the Pelican, so AirPods Pro, Apple TV, and the Apple Watch. So the AirPods Pro, that's where the marching band was. Um, Enhancements to the transparency stroke, um, the ability to remove background noise and such like. And then you get a marching band that comes up and it'll level them down, and someone comes up to you and talks, it'll level up, and yeah, lots of walking around. The Apple TV Plus, FaceTime, and various other things, and another opportunity for Belkin. Continuity camera, but it needs a stand. Enter Belkin, no doubt. The Apple Watch, um, good for biking now, and a redesigned screen with stackable widgets which you can scroll through, and two new faces, including I think it was a Mickey Mouse or something like that. No, it wasn't. It was Snoopy. Sorry, big error there. Um, I'm not altogether sure about the watch, to be perfectly honest. But having the Apple TV do video conferencing and redesign the communications control panel center, because that needs it. I think that's a good move. Anyway, coming on next, Vision Pro, which I think slowly will change the way we do computing. Oh yeah. Otis, Squawk Brewing. 3.9, so I'm being a good boy. And finally, the one more thing, the things that has been years in the making, the thing that is magical. Vision Pro. First of all, Pro. It's a Pro device announced at a developers conference. Yes, it's expensive, $3,500 for the base build, but it's early days. It's very early days, and it won't even be out until the end of the year, and that's in the USA. I have no idea when it's going to hit the rest of the world, but I anticipate the price will come down. Now, much like the Apple Watch when it first came out, they weren't saying what you should use it for. They showed a lot of use purposes, like personal productivity, business productivity. Man, Excel was shown on there. It'll do FaceTime. It'll do 3D movies. This is a canvas to paint upon, and boy, did it look good. Although they made no effort to hide the fact that you were connected to a 2-hour battery pack. But I think this is going to change the way we all think and use computing. Um, it's a watershed. It really is. So those are my opinions and feelings about WWDC23. I blame Daya. Daya on Casca as well. Um, it was good, but it did go on. I'm gonna see if I can see the State of the Union. That might be interesting as well. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me, and thank you for watching this.